My name's Teresa and welcome to my online yoga safety video. And the object of this video is that you can get the most out of your yoga classes online while doing them safely. So the first thing to be aware of is that we're all different. Some people are more flexible, some are stronger, some are bigger, some have health problems or old injuries they need to be aware of. So we need to take into account our individual differences and make sure that we can gain the most from yoga. So the first thing to realize is that you always work within your comfort zone. And especially when you first start, we don't force ourselves into positions that don't feel right. This type of yoga, especially Drew yoga, we ease into and flow into the movements with the breath and gradually build up that comfort zone and move into more dynamic, stronger yoga as we feel able to. So there's a softness to this yoga. It's not a rigid holding joints. Joints are kept soft so that energy flows. And we very much work with our body. And with this softness comes the development of a flexibility and an adaptability. So yes, the yoga can be strong and dynamic, but it can also flow with postures and sequences that enable our energy and vitality to flow and enhance our feeling of general well-being and health. So we don't lock the joints, we breathe and relax into the movement. We don't ever hold our breath. Some movements for some people may need some modifications, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. If you ever reach something or you come across something that you just think, I don't want to do that, or I can't do that at the moment, or I can't do that today, what you can do to still get the benefit is you can visualize yourself doing that posture. So you sit or lie down and you really take yourself into your body and imagine doing that posture. And what happens is you get a kinesthetic awareness of doing that posture, and your body will produce all the same beneficial results as if you were doing the posture. And when you come to practice it, actually doing it, you will find it's as if you've been practicing. Your body will know that posture. So that is always an option. You need to have a non-slip mat, and bare feet are ideal. If your yoga mat's on carpet, be careful it's not going to slip. It's ideal that you have some water and you take regular sips, because yoga detoxes your body and you want to keep hydrated throughout that process to enhance the benefits. You want to have a rug or something warm for the relaxation so you can really relax and gain full benefits. Some people might need a cushion or a rug to put under their knees if you're not so happy kneeling on your knees, or to place under the base of your spine for the postures on the mat where you're bending forward if you find those difficult. If you have any problems that you're really not sure of whether yoga is suitable for you or safe for you, you need to check with your medical practitioner before you embark upon online yoga. Or if you're in doubt, contact me and we can have a talk about it. Most people, most of the time, will be able to do most of the yoga. But there are some people who do have some considerations. And I just want to run through a couple of things that we might need to make some modifications for, or be aware of and take consideration for. So if you have high or low blood pressure, heart problems, or circulatory problems, you need to take it easy. You need to check with me, and especially things like if you're holding your arms above your head for any length of time, you can feel a little bit dizzy. If you ever feel dizzy in class, you must stop and sit or lie down until it passes. Epilepsy, brain problems, or any nervous system problems, you just need to check that yoga is suitable for you through a medical practitioner. Diabetes, you'll need to manage your energy levels. So just make sure, because the yoga will affect that you take the yoga into account. asthma or any breathing problems, yoga really helps, but you might want to have your inhaler available. A woman doing yoga through the menstrual cycle, many women can do yoga right through their cycle with no problems at all. Other women at different times, it will affect them differently. In general, we say on the first 3 days of menstruation, it's not best to do the stronger inverted postures. If you're pregnant, you need to check with me, and we need to look at your individual health and circumstances. Some women can go right through to the 3rd trimester doing yoga, no problems. Others need special consideration right from the start, but that's very individual. If you're post-surgery, you need to check with me just to make sure that we're working with that healing process. If you have a bad back, yoga will help. Yoga really helps to help the healing of your back and get you to a place where you manage your back so that you don't have those old problems. So in 90% of cases, yoga helps backs, but there's about 10% of people where we just need to give some specialist attention. So you need to mention that when we go through the screening process, and I will talk you through the considerations. So when you first embark upon yoga, you can expect, if you haven't done it before or haven't done it for a long time, you'll have a little bit of muscle soreness and discomfort, but nothing really bad. It's just stretching your body and moving in ways that you may not have for a little while. So maybe expect a little bit, but not much at all. Do be aware though that pain in the body, a hot burning feeling or a sharp pain, is always a sign that you must stop and you're doing something that isn't right for your body. What I want to do now is just go through a few things that it would be very useful and helpful for you to understand before you start my classes, so you know what I'm talking about when I give cues in the class. So when I am teaching, I will often give different levels of a posture that you can do. So there'll be a beginner's level, then something a little more, and something for those who want something a bit more advanced. You come in at the level you're comfortable with and stay at that level until you're ready to progress. And I will always talk you through that. In class, it's very important when I ask you to engage your core. So this means when we engage our core, it means it is safe to twist and bend the spine, and it protects your back especially. So what do I mean by engage your core? What I mean is there's a muscle runs across here called your transverse abdominis. It's the muscle when you pull your tummy in. So when I say engage your core, if you just pull that in about 10%, 20% maybe, still breathing, but aware there's some tension there. At the same time, you pull up your pelvic floor muscles. Those are the muscles that stop you weeing. So that feeling of holding a little bit, not a lot, but enough to be aware. When those two muscles are engaged, you engage a muscle deep in your lower back, the quadratus lumborum, that supports your lower back. So those three muscles mean that I have a really stable, supported back, and I can quite safely move my spine. So that is what I mean when I say engage your core. And you do that whenever you are working, especially with the back. The other thing that we need to be aware, sometimes in class, you might not feel up to a posture. You can always use a chair or a stool. So you might want to use it for balance. You might want to use it to the postures that are particularly challenging if you've been having trouble with your back, for example, we've got to watch forward bends. So we might be doing a forward bend in class, and you might think, I'm not sure about my back today. So there's two things that you can do. A, you can bend your knees, and then when you come forward, that will take the pressure off your back, and you might decide just to have a chair or a stool or something just to support your weight. So rather than coming down into a full forward bend, you're just coming down as far as is good for your back on that day. Alignment. Alignment is really important to protect your joints and ensure that your yoga doesn't cause any injury. So for example, one of the most important alignment cues is that your knee always follows your foot. Whenever you bend your knee, it needs to go in the same line as your foot. So the forces go down through the joints in a way that is safe. The other thing you need to be aware of is that the knee is not forward of the foot. So when my knee is there and it is forward of the foot, it is placing a lot of stress on the cruciate and the collateral ligaments in my knee, which is not good for them. So what we do to ensure that doesn't happen, if I was asking you to say go into a triangle posture like this, I would say ensure that your knee follows your foot and that you can see your big toe, because when you can see your big toe, that knee is in a correct alignment and we're not putting pressure on those ligaments. The other alignment point for protecting your joints is when you come out of a posture, you never twist your foot while you have weight on it. So for example, if I were to do that, you can see that that's going to damage ligaments in the cartilage in my knee. So what we do is we take the weight off, then it's safe to turn our foot and come out of a posture. I always talk you through this, but just if you're aware beforehand, it will help you to stay safe. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that if you have any concerns, you might want to book a one-to-one session with me. As part of your process of coming into my online classes, we will have a 15-minute appointment, but it might be that you want a longer appointment just to go through, well, how do I modify my yoga practice for this particular health problem or for this injury, or can I do this? Is it safe to do this? When is it safe for me to do that? And I can guide you through that. So those are the main points that I wanted to cover. And all of this is really about you getting the most from yoga. Yoga is a fantastic journey of transformation, and I want to make it safe and I want you to get the full benefits. So I'm really pleased that you're joining me with online yoga. I'm passionate about yoga. I live my yoga, and I'm really excited that you're joining me. Thank you for watching. Namaste.